Dear students, today in this class we have to discuss about new lesson, new chapter, that is Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. Euclid is the father of geometry. Okay, chapter 2. This is for 9th standard class. See, the word geometry comes from the Greek word geo meaning the earth and metron meaning to measure. Is it right? Okay, geometry appears to have originated from the need for measuring land. For measuring land. So, this branch of mathematics was studied in various forms in every ancient civilization, be in Egypt, Babylonia, China, India, Greece, the Incas, etc. The people of these civilizations faced several practical problems which required the development of geometry in various ways. See, for example, you can take whenever the river Nile overflowed, it wiped out the boundaries between the adjoining fields. Is it of different landowners? After such flooding, these boundaries had to be redrawn. For this purpose, the Egyptians developed a number of geometric techniques and rules for calculating simple areas and also for doing simple constructions. This knowledge of geometry was also used by them for computing volume of granaries and for constructing canals and pyramids. Is it? They also knew the correct formula to find the volume of a truncated pyramid. Do you know the meaning of the truncated pyramid? To make a short. Is it to make it short? See, yeah, upside the triangle shape is cut off. Is it? That is what this is called truncated pyramid. So look at this figure. You know that a pyramid is a solid figure, the base of which is a triangle. See, if I will mark a dot here, I will join this point to this point, this point to this point, this point to this point, and this point to this point. We will get a triangle, is it? Faces of triangles converging to a point at the top. Point at a top. Here, this side or this side. Okay. See, by using the bricks of used for constructions where kill, fire and the ratio length, breadth and height, that is thickness, length, breadth and thickness of the bricks was found to be the ratios 4 is to 2 is to 1. 4 is to 2 is to 1. Okay. Length, breadth, that is thickness. Okay, dear students, now let us discuss about Euclid's definitions, axioms and postulates. See, the Greek mathematicians of Euclid's time, the thought of geometry as an abstract model of the world in which they lived. The notions of a point, line, plane or surface and so on were derived from what was seen around them. From studies of the space and solids into the space around them, an actual geometrical notion of a solid object was developed. A solid has a shape, size, position and can be moved from one place to another. Its boundaries are called surfaces. They separate one part at the same from another and are said to have no thickness. The boundaries of the surfaces are curves. For example, look at this page. Because of their curves, is it? It turns from left, again it turns to right. Okay, these are the curves or straight lines. These lines are end points. These lines end in points. Consider the 3 steps from solids to points. Solid surfaces, lines, points. In each step we use one extension also called a dimensions. Is a rectangle is a 2 dimension? Is it? Cube is a 3 dimension. Okay, so a solid has a 3 dimension, a surface has 2, a line has 1 and a point has none. Euclid summarized those statements and definitions. He began to exposition by listing 23 definitions in book 1 of the elements. A few of them are given below. Let us discuss now. Okay, see, first point. A point is that which has no part. Look at this figure. This is a point. This point This is point which has no part. There is not having any part for this. Okay, a geometrical figure name for this we call as point. Second point, a second definition, a line is breadthless length. A line is breadthless length. See, there is no breadthless. There is no breadth, is it? There is no end points for between A and B. For having both directions, there is no end. Okay, see, look at this figure. And next, third one, the ends of a line are points. What are those? For example, I drawn a line segment. P and Q are the end points. Okay, so fourth definition, a straight line is a line which lies evenly with the points on itself. See, look at this straight line. See, A and B are these straight lines. Both directions there is no end point, that all points lies on itself. Okay, points on itself. Fifth one, a surface is that which has length and breadth only. Look at this figure 5. Okay, I drawn here we have one geometrical figure. Okay, for this on this surface having only length and breadth. Okay, see, look at this page also. This is the length and this is breadth. Next, sixth one, the edges of a surface are lines. I drawn here geometrical figure. Look at this. For example, AB is a line, DC is a line, BC is a line, and AD is a line. Okay, these are the edges of a surfaces are the lines. Got it? AB, BC, CD, and DA. Okay, seventh one, a plane surface is a surface which lines evenly with the straight lines on itself. For example, it is only plane surface. This is a surface which lines evenly with the straight lines on itself only. Okay. See, for this seventh question, just a figure 7, that is observe this page. Okay. Okay, dear students, if you carefully study these definitions, you find that some of terms like part, breadth, length, evenly, etc. need to be further explained clearly. For example, consider his definition of a point. In his definition, a part needs to be defined. Suppose if you define a part to be that which occupies area, again occupies, again area, an area. Okay, needs to be defined. So to define one thing, you need to define many other things, and you may get a long chain of definitions without an end. See, for such reasons, mathematicians agree to leave some geometric terms undefined, and undefined terms are undefined. See, starting with these definitions, Euclid assumed certain properties which were not to be proved. These assumptions are actually obvious universal truths. He divided them into two types, that is axioms and postulates. Okay, let us discuss now axioms and postulates. Okay, dear students, now let us discuss about Euclid's axioms. Okay. First axiom, things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. For example, rectangle is equal to square because the sum of the all angles which is equal to the sum of the angles of a square. Okay, and even or area of the triangle which is equal to also square. Okay, see, area of the triangle which is nothing but that is half into base into height, which is equal to the sum of all the angles in a square. Okay, next, see, second axiom, if equals are added to equals, the wholes are equal. See, for example, if A is equal to B given and C is equal to D as given, then if equals are added, I will add these two, those equals. A plus C is equal to B plus D. A plus C is equal to B plus D. Also, if A is equal to B, we have to put the value of in the place of D is C. A plus C is equal to B plus C. See, if you cancel C, we will get the same. A is equal to B only. Okay, therefore if equals are added to equals, the wholes are equal. See, third axiom we have, if equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders are equal. For example, this p and this r I will subtract, and remaining is q is equal to s. Therefore this portion is equal to this portion. Therefore if equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders are equal. These are the remainders. These are the q and s. Okay, these are the remainders. Okay, fourth axiom, things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. Okay, for example, x is equal to x as given here, or a is equal to b, or one more example, ab is equal to 5 cm, cd is equal to 5 cm. Both lines I will coincide with that. Okay, this is AC and this is CD, or this is CD, or this is CD, or this is AB. Okay, see, both are coincide to each other. Therefore things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. AB is equal to CD, AB is equal to CD. Okay, or you can draw one line, you can draw a line A B C. See here, AB plus BC coincide with AC, Okay, things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. Okay, now let us discuss about fifth axiom, the whole is greater than the part. Example, you can take the human body part. For example, our hand, legs, those are the parts of a body, our human body part, is it? These are the small parts. See, hand is a small part and leg is a small part, is it? Those are the parts of our whole body part. Therefore the whole is greater than the part. Okay, sixth axiom, things which are double of the same things are equal to one another. Okay, for example, if x is equal to 2p I have taken, you can take 2p or 2m, 2l, whatever you can take. Okay, if y is equal to 2p, okay, both are same, because things which are double of the same things are equal to one another. If x is equal to 2p means y is equal to 2 means both are equal, therefore x is equal to y. Okay, same. Seventh axiom, things which are halves means half. Okay, half of the same things are equal to one another, same like this only. Okay, here we have taken 2 times, therefore you have to take halves they are told, is it? Things which are halves of the same things are equal to one another. If x is equal to half into p, y is equal to half into p, both are equal, therefore x is equal to y. That's why things which are halves of the same things are equal to one another. Okay, those are very important. Okay, in next class we will discuss about postulates of Euclid's.